Welcome to the Sikkim 365 Baylor Basketball Postgame Show. Here's your host, Ashley Hodge.
Hey, this is Ashley Hodge with Sikkim 365 coming to you after Baylor's 82-74 win over Kansas. Always good to beat Kansas, Walker. I was really happy about that outcome. Thought it was a terrific game. Very important game to Kansas. I mean, they pulled out all the stops. They played Kevin McCullough after, playing a little bit of some mind games, I guess you could say. Oh, is he out for the season? Are we going to get him in the postseason? Who knows? And then before you know it, he's warming up and scores 20 points. But he was 0 for 5 from 3. He played well. They did, drive at him defensively a few times, and he seems like he wasn't moving like his normal, all Big 12 defensive self. But just a terrific win, to score 82 points on this Kansas defense that was top 10 coming into this game. That's terrific. I thought the Bears really executed well. We'll shout out, a few players. Ray J. Dennis just had a tremendous game. He made the mistake late, the turnover to DeJuan Harris, but then he made up for that quickly. The production from him, 7 for 8 from the field, made his only 3 that he took, 4 for 5 from the free throw line. He gets 10 assists, only 3 turnovers. That's fantastic. Jada Nunn, also 7 for 8 from the field, 3 for 3 from three-point range, and really kind of spurred that run that got, Baylor some distance in the second half. Yves Missy was terrific all game. He was driving at Hunter Dickinson and the other Kansas bigs and having a lot of success. Did a great job finishing around the rim, very aggressive. Love what I saw. Started with the dunk. I mean, that dunk was sensational to start the game. Jalen, is kind of a quiet night offensively, but he was really good defensively. He has 9 points, 5 rebounds. Jacoby was really big on the boards, 8 rebounds, 3 for 13 shooting. But as you commented before, it seems like he played a lot better than his stats. He was very aggressive, did some good things, drew that typical Jacoby Walter foul that we always seem to get where he falls down. I love that. So he did some winning things. Caleb off the bench was big, hit that one shot he took. Got called for an offensive foul. I don't know. It was a little bit of acting on McCullough's part, I thought, but he did kind of dip his shoulder into him. And then Josh Ojawuna with two buckets and also 2 free throws, 6 points and got a rebound as well. So great all-around performance. Tough to beat a Kansas team that's got so many, high-paid NIL guys. Hunter Dickinson, probably one of the highest-paid guys in the country, and Baylor did what they needed to do to beat them, and just a great win. What did you see from the studio, Walker?
Well, I mean, obviously you see a big change in Ray J, especially over the first Kansas game and this game where, last game, I don't know how many turnovers he had, but it was more than what he had today.
Like 8. Yeah, I think it was like 8. Yeah, I'm going to go back and look at that. I'm curious. Yes, we had 21 total in that game, and he had 6. So he had 8. He had 8 assists and 6 turnovers. Today's 10 and 3. So big difference there.
I think another thing you see is personal fouls. Just not really not committing a whole lot of fouls and being a lot more composed, especially in that first game where we had Ray J and Jacoby in foul trouble almost the whole game. So just had to limit what they were going to do there.
Right. Great point. 11 turnovers on the day. Kansas only has 8. DeJuan Harris is really steady. He handled the ball. He had a good game, 12 points, 9 assists. Hunter Dickinson, 20 points and 6 rebounds. And then McCullough had the 20 points and 5 rebounds. KJ Adams was 6. Elmarco Jackson came off the bench and had a big second half, hit a couple threes. So he contributed. He hasn't really been much of a contributor all season, but 8 points for him. And then Johnny Furphy, I don't know, the moment seemed a little bit too big for him. Baylor was driving at him and attacking him. He got beat up on the glass a little bit. They seemed tentative. He ends up, 6 points, but 1 for 5 from the field, 1 for 3 from three-point range. Baylor out-rebounds Kansas 31-23 on their glass, according to the stats on the Baylor website. So that's terrific. You're starting to trust Baylor as a rebounding team. They've just been fantastic recently. 254-339-1122 is the number to call. Calling shows are better with calls. We got Jonathan Tchamwa coming in. I got a bunch of questions in the chat to ask him when he does come in. He says he's on the way, so as soon as he gets here, we'll put a headset on him, and we'll get him to answer your calls. So we'd love to hear from you. 254-339-1122. 2-2. Okay, just as far as other events around the Big 12. So we've got Texas up big at Oklahoma State. That was a pretty close game. So, Texas may be coming in here with 2 straight wins because I think they beat Tech last week, and then they'll be coming into Foster on Monday. Man, I'd really like to send them home sad, and just, put it on them. That Monday night game should be, a electric atmosphere. Hopefully Baylor has a full house and a rowdy house to send Texas out to the SEC in the right way. And then they've got their rival Oklahoma to end the season. But if they beat Oklahoma State, it looks like they will. They'll be 8-8. So that Baylor game is going to be big for them, because if they finish this season 8-10, I don't think people realize how weak their non-conference schedule is. They didn't really do much in the non-conference. They lost to Connecticut. They got blown out by Marquette, and I mean their best win is a win against LSU, which is number 90 in the Ken Palm strength ranking. So they're going to be relying on an 8-10 conference record in the best conference in the country. But if they lose their first game in Kansas City, then that could be a dicey situation for them from an NCAA standpoint. So that's kind of the one outcome. Any other games final in the Big 12? I think that's maybe the only other one that's on right now, right?
Yeah, it looks like that's really it so far.
Yeah, so Baylor had the early game. What did it look like on television? I know it always looks. You always say it looks good, but did you enjoy? Like, was the commentary from Fran good, or was it a little exhausting?
I mean, it's Fran. It's
he's great, but he uses kind of the same sayings over and over again, as we all do. Like, how did Bill Self look? I mean, Bill was like
he looked exhausted.
Yeah,
I mean, just upset with how the team was playing. But I mean, that's kind of what we want to see. A little upset with the refs, but I mean, we've gotten some bad ref calls, and
yeah, I mean, listen, leap years. I mean, it's about once out of every 4 years you get a fair whistle against Kansas. I thought we got a fair whistle today. You certainly never get a fair whistle at Allen Fieldhouse, but we did get it at Foster today. Foster is just amazing as far as a home court advantage. I hate that we lost to Houston. Hate that we lost to TCU. I think this is going to be a really, really tough place to get a win for any opponent going forward, and you could see that today. I mean, there were just key points where the crowd got really loud. It's full. There's very few Kansas fans there. I mean, I don't know if you could see on TV, but I would say maybe 150 Kansas fans there. And that's like, for their brand, that is so unusual for them to have so few fans at a game anywhere. But that was great to see. And I love seeing them, leave sad too. Bill, I mean, he's obviously a tremendous coach. These programs have really been the 2 premier programs in the Big 12 the last 5 years. They're 5-5 against each other. Like a lot of Kansas fans love to point to Bill Self's record against Scott Drew, but that was all kind of built, many years before Scott's got it rolling now. And in the last 5, it's been an even series, and they've really just exchanged body blows. And, I think, Baylor's actually probably recruiting a little bit better than them. I mean, Kansas still gets who they want in the transfer market. Obviously they have a huge NIL program. Kevin McCullough and Hunter Dickinson may be 1 and 2 as far as the highest paid guys, and from NIL transfers. Or they kept Kevin McCullough an extra year, but got him as a transfer from Texas Tech initially. Any calls?
Yes, we do have one call.
All right. You're on the call-in show with Ashley Hodge. Jonathan Tchamwa will be here soon. Welcome to the post-game call-in show after Baylor beat Kansas.
How you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
Good. A quick question. After this week, what do you think they're going to be ranked?
Okay, so, the rankings come out Monday. So we were 15. We won 2 big games, TCU and Kansas. I mean, I would think we might be top 10, maybe 10 or 9, somewhere in that range. That seems logical. I would defer to people that follow that a lot more closely than I do. I mean, to me, what's most important is we get that, 3 seed in the Big 12 or even higher. If we can get a double bye in the Big 12 tournament, make the semifinals or even win it, and then you can set yourself up for a 2 seed. I mean, the percentages of making a Final Four, if you get a 2 seed, are so much higher it's like 40% from the one line. It's like 29% from the two line, 16% from the three line. I'm doing this all kind of from memory, so I may be off a percentage or two. But the point is, every seed line matters. And, if you can get that 2 seed or 3 seed, I think a 1's out of the question at this point. But, if we get a 2 or 3, then you're in pretty good shape to make a Final Four, just depending on how the bracket falls. A lot of parity this year. I mean, none of those teams. Connecticut's vulnerable. Purdue's vulnerable. Houston's vulnerable. Those are the top 3. Arizona's playing really well right now. Arizona would probably be a scary matchup for a lot of teams right now. But, those 4 are kind of the ones trending towards the 1 seeds. But, I mean, they all have flaws.
Okay. I'm hoping to make the 2 seed in this tournament. But what are the odds of them making 2 seed? What percentage?
Who is that? What team?
What the percentage?
Yeah, I can't hear you. What team were you asking about?
I was asking about Baylor. What percentage do you think of them making a 2 seed in the tournament?
Yeah. I'd probably put the odds kind of low. I mean, I think it's most likely they're going to be locked in at the 3. They're trending towards a 3 seed for sure. I'd say maybe 20% chance of a 2. They need some help. I mean, but if you win out, you're definitely going to get a 2 seed. I mean, if they win the next 2 games and then they win the Big 12 tournament, they're definitely a 2 seed.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you for the call. I really appreciate it. 254-339-1122 is the number. We got another call, Walker.
We have another call. This is AJ talking about our offense.
Hey, AJ. Welcome to the Postgame Call-In Show.
What's up, Ashley? Woo!
Hey, how's it going?
Picking Bears, man. Let's go.
Yes.
Hey, man. I was not able to make the game today. I made the Houston game last week, but I watched today's game on TV. And even going back to the Houston game second half, TCU game not so much, but man, when we do not turn the ball over, we got the best offense in the country. I mean, these guys can score at will.
I would agree with that.
I thought we are unstoppable, man. Like second half Houston, we were just going nuts.
Yeah.
And today, same thing. When we protect that basketball, man, we kick, and we don't even have Langston out there.
Yeah, I know.
Until we get him back.
It'll be great when we get Langston back. But, I mean, the 1.28 points per possession, that's terrific. The rebounding, man, I want to talk to John about that. John just got here. Welcome to the Postgame Call-In Show, John. Always a pleasure to see you. So, talk as close to the microphone as you can, and we'll answer calls. And I've got a bunch of questions for you in the chat as well. First of all, thank you for doing this. And, tell me about the rebounding. I mean, we've kind of flipped the switch the last 3 or 4 games, and we've just really been – controlling the glass. I mean, what have you seen? So I guess since BYU, just the embarrassment of BYU and getting beat up a little bit, and we've been emphasized.
First of all, I want to thank you for allowing me to be on this platform.
Yes.
I'm really grateful for it. And yes, I definitely agree. After BYU, that second loss, we felt like we lost some of our identity. We lost some of the greats that we had. So we show up to practice with a different mindset, expecting to have a really hard practice. And we were like, okay, you can throw whatever you have at us because we deserve it. We needed to get better. And we just had a different approach to how much we want to work, how much we want to put ourselves on the line to love each other. I remember at the end of that practice, almost everybody ended up leaving the gym with bruises. So it was definitely good. It was definitely just a good reset. And now if you can really pay attention, rebounding is no more like a one-man show or this guy's doing this bad, this guy's doing that. Like everybody is pitching in. And Jalen's doing like an amazing job just rebounding, just being active. The guards are doing a great job being able to rebound, which allows us to just push the ball way faster than we used to. So I'm definitely glad to see the improvement and to see the work paying off.
Yeah, no, it's been pretty fun to watch. Kansas obviously has some size, some athletes, and you beat them 31-23 on the glass. I mean, that's terrific. At TCU, another veteran team that rebounds really well. You beat them up on the glass as well. So that's a big change and obviously a big reason why we've won these last 2 games. First of all, I want to praise you because I had Jaden Nunn in here last week, and I asked him, who's the hardest worker on the team, and he said, "Oh, John," just without hesitation. And I mean, it says so much about your character. First of all, that it's obviously the injury. You're not playing as much as you had hoped and dreamed about, and for you just to set that example, even without that carrot necessarily, I think just says so much about you. So I wanted to, give you your flowers and mention, what an example you're setting for these other players. And I just know that, a lot of the success is because of you, because of your leadership, because of your example.
Well, I appreciate you for that. And just to piggyback on that, I really believe that I just owe it to myself, regardless of the situation that I'm in.
Yeah.
Nowadays, people might have like different point of view or different opinion about yourself. But
Right.
at the end of the day, who are you playing for? For the Lord. Is he allowing you to play the game of basketball? Yes. Did that suffer a crazy career-ending injury for most people? Yes, that is true.
Right.
Now, I'm the only player in the NCAA playing with drop foot, but he allows me to play.
Right.
So he knows that I can do it. So I just keep on working. You never know what's going to happen. And I know the Lord is doing things that we don't understand as human beings, but I always set you up for something else. And not to answer too much of a long answer,
Right.
but in my career, I remember transferring, having a lot of uncertainties. I wasn't sure I was going to play. During that whole year, I had to work with no promises. And what ended up happening the next year, I ended up playing a huge role in the national championship team.
Absolutely.
And during that championship team, I ended up hurting my leg, having a stress fracture toward the end, taking some time off. And what ended up happening, I had a great season.
Yep.
Until the injury, I ended up being Defensive Player of the Year that year.
Yeah.
And I got hurt, so I had a little step back. God was preparing me for something else, allowed me to work more on my skills, allowed me to think about other things than just basketball, allowed me to work on my identity, to work on myself in a 360 standpoint, not just 180, seeing what I can do to be a better human being, what I can do to just help other people, how can I better my game, how can I work on my jump shot, my handles, and it allowed me to come back last year and be able to provide some kind of leadership and different skill set at the 5-man position.
Yeah.
So I feel like right now is one of those moments, like with a little mind, we have tendency of just saying things in a short perspective, but I feel like we can only connect the dots looking backward.
Yep.
And I don't know where this is going to take me, but I know in the future I'm going to be able to connect the dots. And to add on to rebounding, I definitely agree we flipped up the switch with BYU. After BYU, and if you really pay attention, you forgot about one game, which is Houston.
Yeah.
One of the best rebounding teams
in
the nation.
Right.
Like our rebounding Houston that is something really big.
Right.
Oh, I really feel like they knew that okay, we didn't win this game, but we fought.
Right.
We
Right.
fought.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty inspirational. You reminded me of one of my favorite quotes. There's a Danish philosopher, Soren Kierkegaard. He says, life can only be lived forwards, but can only be understood backwards. I mean, what you just said kind of connected that for me. You're to be applauded. So I got a bunch of questions for you. Do we have any calls, Walker?
Yes, we do have.
All right,
two
let's roll
calls.
through calls. Yep. You're on the Postgame Show with Ashley Hodge and Jonathan Tchamwa.
Yeah, just two observations and then a question for John. The first is, I thought it was pretty incredible how when KU was able to score pretty quickly versus our zone, we went to that man and really kind of locked down in a way that we haven't always been able to versus Kansas. That was really awesome. Also thought it was one of Missy's best games of the season. Just athleticism, you could tell that KU was on skates a couple times, just wanted no part in. And then, hey, John, I was kind of curious about your thoughts on the way that leadership has stepped up over the past couple games, just kind of the way that some of the new guys have kind of started to gel and take a leadership role. Thanks.
Thank you. Great questions.
Just to bring back your first thought about just us going from the zone to man. Bill Self and his staff is one of the best staff in the country, and he's known for adjusting. Like I've played for Baylor for 4 4 or 5 years now. And one thing that I know about that coaching staff, they're going to adjust. They're going to find ways to just take you apart. So I need to applaud our coaching staff to be able to adjust, because what they were trying to do is to catch the ball in the high post and just being able to throw that pass, that quick love pass, because you really can't drop with the wing as much. So just going to man and allowing us just to fix it right away, even though we had a different game plan. And I need to applaud my coaching staff and the players just to be able to adjust on the fly and just be tough. And in terms of leadership role, I felt like after the BYU game, it became more of a team leadership aspect, where is everybody lifting each other up. Like when I have bad days, like during warm-up, I would go to Langston and be like, hey, Lang, I don't have it today, bro. Like, pick me up. Like, hold me accountable. Like, literally, I would tell him that. Yeah. So holding each other accountable to the highest standards, there's nobody have too much of an ego. We all love each other. We all know that we work hard. And it's just like a different dynamic where you have, like, somebody doesn't play as much minutes, but who's the hardest worker. If I'm that person, I'm able to talk to anybody. Right. Not just from my background of, yes, I want this, I want that, but that's in the past. But what do I do now? What do I do in practice? What do I do when nobody's watching? So I'm working the hardest I can, and that allowed me to be able to talk to them. So if I can talk to all my teammates who are playing, everybody in the team can hold each other accountable. Yeah. And I feel like that's so much important. And after BYU, it was like, okay, come on, like we playing soft. Like, what is going on? And right. So, yeah, I definitely felt like we flipped the switch after that game.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, next call. Thank you for the call.
We've one more call. This is Kale from Dallas.
Hey, welcome to the post-game show with Ashley and Jonathan.
Hey, Ashley, I got a question. Do you feel like there was some sort of switch starting in the second half of the Houston game going through today where the team just kind of had a mental flip the switch, and I just feel like we're playing at a different level?
Yeah, I mean, that's 5 pretty good halves of basketball. I mean, the overtime, if you exclude that. But, yeah, I mean, the second half of Houston, we played terrific basketball. TCU, we put 2 halves together. Today, I thought we put 2 halves together. What's your comment? I mean, obviously, I mentioned this before you came, but that was a really important game for Kansas. They don't play McCullough if they don't feel that is a big, big game for them. So,
right.
Yeah.
I mean, I need to give him a shout-out. Like, I've played against him for a couple years now, and he's a tough dude.
Yeah.
Like, I need to give him his praise for that, for playing and showing up. Not a lot of dude would have done that because it was clearly hurting.
Right.
And about just the half, I feel like the past 8 to 7 games, if you really want the stats or second halves, we're the best team in the country, and by far, all second halves. And we've done that for a while now. And then the past 3 games, we were able to actually do it for 2 games and the second half. So 2 games, like this game, last game, and the game before, we only did it the second half. So I feel like we're playing at a different level, and I do agree with you. And we just need to find a way to keep on staying healthy and keep on clicking, keep on playing for each other. Team is going to try to adjust, but I've talked with my teammate a lot about this after some of the losses that we have. I don't think there are teams in Big 12 that lost so many close games.
Right.
So we're used to that moment. Like, we've used to play Final Four type of moment. Like, Ray J's probably shot, like, a lot of, like, game-winning, like, layup, floater. Well, Kobe's been there, done that before. So that experience, you just can't replicate it in practice. Yes, we lost those games, but those are Big 12 games, and you can't replicate that.
Right.
And I feel like tournament, Big 12 tournament time, and NCAA tournament, we're gonna have a hedge.
Yeah.
And we're starting to click, and that's what happened to the NCAA tournament. Like, it's not always the best team that wins, but it's the team that got the best momentum.
Right.
And I feel like we are catching that momentum, and I'm excited.
Yeah, no, it's fun to watch. I agree with you. So what are the emotions going to be? Thank you for the call. Do we have anything in the hopper, Walker? All right, 254-339-1122. I got a lot of questions for you in the chat here, Jonathan, but just your feelings. Your Baylor career is coming to an end Monday. What's next for you? We're excited about you and Lauren. You guys are going to get married. When is that?
We're still thinking.
Okay. So in the future,
we really.
But you ask her to marry you.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
no, 100%. I will ask her any day.
Yeah.
And twice on Sunday.
and then so what's after college? Or you want to coach or what's?
Oh, no. I feel like I know my body is still 100% ready to go.
Yeah.
And there's still a lot of miles that I can use.
Yeah.
So you're only 25 or 24 once in your life.
Right.
And if coaching is what the Lord want me to do, at some point, whenever my body won't be able to do the things that I can do,
right,
I might look into it. But as of now, I'm going to
play pro ball. Maybe
play
try
pro
to play
ball.
pro ball.
Because if you really think about it, I'm 6'9",
right,
235 pounds. I have an advantage. I can play
threes.
basketball and I can shoot threes. So
right,
use that as much as you can.
That's
and
right.
then whenever that door just closes, see what else the Lord is going to happen for you.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Yeah, that's my plan. Just keep on hooping.
That's awesome. All right, questions in the chat here. Walker, just put your hand up if we have any calls coming in. Oh, we got one?
All right. This is James calling from Waco.
Hey, James.
Hey, James.
Hi, this is James from Waco. We just left the game and wanted to say to Jonathan, thank you so much for just sharing your testimony of your how everything's gone for you since the injury. I'm listening to you share again. I've heard it a couple times, but getting to hear you share it with my 10-year-old son, and I don't know, even me as an older man, I'm just very, very inspired of just being able to take what you're given and make the best of it and still work hard. So thank you for just sharing that so much with everybody around. And my question for you is, there's been a lot of talk about a speech Scott Drew gave yesterday about March Madness, and not asking what was shared, but what was it like being in that room, and how did the team react?
Well, thank you so much for what you just said. Sometimes I feel like sometimes it's easy to feel down about things, but knowing that the way I carry myself and the way I'm going through the struggles actually helps other people, that means the world to me. I feel like I'm spreading the gospel this way, so I'm carrying myself like the man of the Lord this way. And secondly, yes, Coach Drew gave us the March of Madness speech, the whole put your hands up if you ever was playing in the NCAA tournament. So we only had a few hands up. I was just waiting on him to say, put your hands up if you want an Natty. So I was just waiting on that one. But no, I felt like guys got like some kind of goosebump about it. And it really put an emphasis on March is about us and it's about winning. And reality is March of basketball, college basketball, is the only sport that got a month just assigned for a certain tournament. Like you don't hear, maybe I don't know. I don't know football that much.
Right.
But it's not like March Madness for football or something like that. So basketball is the only sport. So, and especially with the fact that we get spring break and everything, we get so much free time. Everything is set up for us to focus just on one mission, just to click and just reach our full potential, which I feel like we've been able to do that the past 3 games. So you just want us to stay locked in, just take care of the family stuff, take care of the important things, and then just lock in on basketball. So that's the main thing. Just that kind of gave us some goosebumps that, okay, like March is here. Like we're at the point where you only have like what? Texas Tech.
That's it.
Texas Tech and Texas Tech.
Tournament.
And then Big 12 tournament.
Yeah.
And then the NCAA tournament is
Right.
market. So you really only have 4 like games that you know for a fact you're gonna play.
Right.
So as a senior or as a freshman, as a whatever you are, like you gotta flip the switch, because if you don't take advantage of this moment, you're gonna regret it. So it's really the biggest thing that he told us. So yeah, I feel like the guys really picked it up well and reacted well to it.
Yeah, it's awesome. Okay, no more calls. Got some questions in the chat for you. Who is your favorite pro basketball player?
My favorite pro basketball player, I would definitely say LeBron James.
Right.
Do I have to say why?
No,
Okay.
you can if you want.
Well, I would say I'm all about hard work, and I remember when I started playing a game of basketball, I knew I wasn't talented, and I knew like I have crazy talent out of nowhere, and I knew I was way behind everybody. So I had to look at a role model who was all about hard work, who was all about, okay, I got here because of how hard I worked. So I looked up to him, and in terms of soccer, Cristiano Ronaldo too. So I've just felt like looking up to those people.
Yeah.
Kind of like help me.
It's amazing the longevity he's had, and I mean, it's pretty incredible. All right, how does it feel to be one of the most loved players in Baylor history?
Well, I won't say I'm the most loved player in Baylor history, but I do feel that way. I do feel the love. Man, like just being able to check in. Like, I don't know if it's just me, but whenever I get on the game, I feel like the fans just get crazy loud.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's not just me.
No,
okay,
sure.
Okay.
Sure.
But I just love that. Like,
they
show me that I matter. You see what I'm saying?
Sure.
I mean, I play for the audience of one, but at the end of the day, you really want also like to get pampered and everything. Right. And Baylor family just being so great at that. Like, sending me notes, sending me letters and cards when I was hurt. I had about 300 different postcards. Just people praying for me. It's just so nice just being able to know that I can come back here in 50 or 40 years and know that people are just going to show me the same love and affection. And the fact that they've been able to show that to me even this year, that I have an effect winning as much on the floor, show me how real they are. How much of a culture we are.
Love it. All right, this is a suggestion from Baylor in 1984. There needs to be an award named after you when your playing career is over. They should be given annually to the player who is the hardest worker on the team. What an example you've set for your teammates. Clavin says, what do you want to do with your degree? You mentioned, you want to play pro basketball. Yes. And any interest in coaching. You said you're open to wherever the Lord takes you, right?
Well, for my degree, so I'm a Bachelor in Environmental Health Science.
That's right,
The reason why, because I just love science and just love the environment. I love to find out how things work. And I feel like I can really help Africa a lot with it, since we're in the up-and-coming continent, and we at a level that when we're going to get to be an industrial continent or have industrial countries, we're going to need to be able to take care of the environment, take care of all those type of things. And I feel like there's a big potential there. And I'm right now doing a Master of Public Health affiliated with Environmental Health Science. I really have a dream to be able to, at some point, work with the WHO and work with the EPA, and later on, if the Lord allows, opening my own consulting firm and be able to work in Africa.
Yeah, I got some books to recommend to you that I've read. There's one called Startup Nation, which is about Israel.
Okay.
And, their move towards technology and how they've prospered because of their emphasis in technology. The other one's called From Third World to First, all about the miracle of Singapore. Because at a time, they're, 50 years ago, they were a third world nation. And then they just, through an anti-corruption campaign, I don't know, it just might get your thoughts going.
I would definitely love that. Just
to
piggyback on that, I found out that countries usually, when they increase the GDP, they need to go through a really bad, how can I say that, period of pollution. So I feel like that's going to happen in Africa and everything. So I'm just thinking, what do I know?
Yeah.
So
no, it's fascinating. Good stuff. All right. Who inspires you? And you've been an inspiration to so many people. Who inspires you in life, business, work, or just every day? Who comes to mind?
A lot of people, actually. I would say one, my dad, he always believed in work 5 times harder than the next man to have a chance, which is why some of my work ethic came from. The other part, I would say Jesus Christ. Sometimes when I go through struggle, I remind myself, he died for us. He died for our sins. He made the ultimate sacrifice. Why should I complain about the situation I'm in right now? And my girlfriend, my fiance, sorry. I'm having a hard time. I don't understand the fiance thing. It's like girlfriend or wife to me. Right. So I would say my wife to be. She just inspired me so much. Just how strong she is, how grounded she is, and how much of a woman of faith she is. And I would say those are definitely my biggest inspiration.
Awesome. Okay, what's your favorite memory from the 21 national championship run?
My favorite memory, I would definitely say my favorite memory from the championship run was Elite Eight and Final Four. And why? I don't know. Fans probably don't know this, but I had a kind of stress fracture, stress reaction during that tournament on, I think, my right foot. And I kept on playing on it because I was like, okay, I'm only going to be in this position once in my life. And look, we haven't been back there yet. But I felt like, I told Coach, I'm going to play. I'm going to play. And I remember from the first game until then, I was like, just okay. And I still had a hard time coming back from COVID because I remember I only came back from COVID after at the Kansas game that we had. Then we went to the NCAA tournament. Afterward, I just really didn't play well because I was still like kind of rehabbing, just coming back from COVID. For some reason, it just hit me way harder than everybody else. My COVID protocol was just crazy. And then that Elite Eight game, I just played great. Yeah. I played great. Like, I didn't feel no pain during the game. And then Final Four, we just walked through that game, man. Those were definitely my favorite memories of the 2021 game.
Yeah. Arkansas in the Elite Eight, right? Yep. All right, how is this? I missed a question here. Lady Bear 91. Besides yourself, who's the most unselfish person on the team? Who is a comedian or prankster on the team? And then she's got some follow-up questions.
Okay. I've loved to answer those. So, the most selfish person on the team?
Unselfish.
Unselfish? Oh, sorry. I would say Austin Sachs.
Yeah.
Austin Sachs, he always look out for everybody, always check on everybody. Even when he's down, he's going to check them. Literally. Like, I would be talking to the bench with him, just talking about how you doing, all this type of stuff. No, he's a great kid, and I feel like his future is going to be great. Yeah. Just unselfish.
He's had a big moment this year.
Yeah.
That was
and he's bought in. It just show you that life is just going to reward you. Like, it's like good karma. Like, the more you do good things, the more you have a chance of good things happening to you. And he's one of those perfect examples. And
comedian.
Comedian. Ooh, I think we have a team full of comedians. That's, I would say probably Jay Nunn, Josh. I don't think Josh trying to be a comedian.
He's just naturally funny.
It's just like, what did he just say?
Right.
Yeah. Pranksters wise. Ooh, Miro.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
That's all.
Like, I'm always like watching, like when I'm around him, he might do something. Yeah, Miro's a prankster.
Yeah. All right, favorite Waco hangout. Do you have any food
Yes,
recommendations?
I will advertise right now. Olive Branch is the best place to eat in Waco.
There you go.
I go there 6 times a week. Like, literally, I know everybody's names. And I know their whole menu. And it's healthy.
Yeah.
Their owner is a great person, so I just love it. Olive Branch, you heard it, yeah.
There you go. All right, is there a team that you enjoy beating more than others?
Okay, I don't know how Baylor fans going to feel about this, but not really.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like a win at some point, like, it's just a win. I kind of, like, after my injury, I kind of separated, like, myself from having, like, crazy emotion after games. Like, did I do my job? Did we do the best job we can? And we won the game? Cool. Like, on to the next. So I really don't believe in rivalry games. So whenever there's a rivalry and everybody's hyped up, I was like, okay, can we, like, just get the win?
Yeah. Right. That's funny. All right. So how's this team different from the past 2 years? Like, what do you see in this team that might be a little bit different from last year? I mean, we've had great teams. I mean, we're number 1 seed, lost to Carolina in the to get to the Sweet 16, and then last year, of course, we lose to Creighton. But what's different about this team?
I would say what's different about this team is just the versatility. No, actually, the depth.
Yeah,
that's what I would say about this team, because if you think about depth on the championship team, yes, we were deep. And that's kind of real similar. But the team after that with Jeremy Sohan and everybody, you still had those guys who you knew for a fact they were going to get 30 or 20. Adam Flagler.
Right.
You knew exactly what was going to happen. So with this team, it's quite different. Like, you have a day.
Balance.
Yeah, it's quite balanced. Like, you have a day, Jay Nunn will have 30. And another day, somebody else is going to triple-double. Ray J, which is really unselfish, one of the best point guard I played with. Yeah. Actually, I played with great point guard the past 4 years. Right. So, another day is just John Bridges going crazy, and then another day is just Kobe when he hit his first 2 threes, and then he's having a great game. Or a day like today, Eve just shows up. Or another day, it might be Josh. Yeah. So the team is quite balanced and it's quite deep. Like, I'm on the bench, I'm not playing as much, but I know I can start on any team on the Big 12. So when you really think about things like that, like, this team is quite deep. And the fact that we're so unselfish, like, Ray J can score 20 every night, if he really tries to, but he's not really. Like, I was looking into the stats, like, with 10 or 12 minutes left, and Ray J didn't shoot the ball 6 times or 7 times, right. But he had 10 assists. Right. Like, that's just such different dynamic to this team. Like, nobody's selfish. We're all looking to pass and make the next guy look good. Yeah, that's good. Okay, a couple more questions. No more calls, right, Walker? All right, we're going to finish up with a few here. All right, so a couple questions about being called a coach on the floor. Do you find that insulting? Does that bother you? Kind of like one person said, kind of like the JTT. Like, everybody was calling you JTT. Like, what's when you hear being called a coach on the floor? What's your reaction to that? Well, just to bring it back, please don't call me JTT. Yeah. I'm a calm person, so let's not do that. Everyday John. I would love Jonathan, really. Yeah. But I won't say the coach on the floor is an insult. I don't see it as an insult. I feel like that's their way of praising me. Yeah. But I see it as the mouth has such a power on our life. Right. So I would never, like, call myself I'm trash after missing a shot. I would never say we're trash after losing a game by 30, because when sometimes you speak into things, you speak into realities, and then your mind just that. Like, if I say I'm trash, somehow my body, my mind, my just brain trying to make that into reality, even if it wasn't the case. And when people are calling me a coach, it's like taking away the fact that I can play. Yeah. Right. Like, I'm a really, really dang good basketball player. Right. So that's why I told Coach Drew, like, hey, can we, like, stop doing that? Because by doing that, you're putting in your mind that I can't play John because that's his job. Right. If you see what I'm saying. And at some point, when people around you start believing something, you might end up believing that too. True. Right. So that's really the reason. Yeah. It wasn't insulting. It was just like, hey, like, the mouth is powerful. Let's stay away from doing that. Yeah. No. When the Lord's going to want me to stop playing basketball, then call me a coach. Call me a coach. Yeah. Not backing away from that. All right, Kansas. We know what kind of whistle they get at home, and on the road too. Yeah, exactly. I mean, today, I thought, obviously we got a fair whistle, and but yeah, I mean, what do you feel like you just have to beat them by, like, you have to be up 8-10 at the 4-minute mark at their place because they're going to get so many great calls down the stretch? Well, we believe that at the 4-minute mark, you got to be up by 15 to have a chance. So I was getting nervous. Getting nervous. You have to be up. I mean, they're a great program, and right. We had a great crew today. They don't need the help. That's the point. We had a great crew reffing and just managing the game today, but at some point, we're just human beings, and we can be biased. So, right. Let's not try and give them a chance, and let's be up by 10 or 15 when we play them, and we have 4 minutes to go. Right. Yeah. That's the rule. That's the Kansas rule, especially at Allen Fieldhouse. I understand. All right, let's talk about Misi and Walter. It seems like they've moved past a freshman shooting slump. They're all in. Obviously Jacoby didn't shoot really well today, but he did a lot of big things. Like, he was energetic. He just brings that grit. 8 rebounds. I mean, that's all big stuff. Like, what have you seen from them? Sometimes one and done guys can just kind of be worried about, their status for the NBA draft, injuries. I mean, it just seems like these guys are pretty unusual from a teammate perspective. Well, I just want to put it out there. I think there's nothing wrong about a kid just being worried about an NBA draft. I mean, right. We all human beings at the end of the day. It's going to allow them to provide for the family, but I need to give them praise. And in a way that they've always been present. And that's one of the main quality that both these guys have. They've always been present, always been worrying about the moment. So, yeah, they've been good about it. Yeah. They've been trying to win now, win the day, every single day that we step on the floor. So I feel like they're going to have a great future if they keep on just behaving that way.
Yep. All right, good stuff, man. Thank you so much for doing this. Thank you for your career. We're going to have, some emotion when you get introduced Monday night, I'm sure, but I know it's just the beginning of some great things for you in your life. So, we're grateful that you're a Baylor Bear and that you'll always be one of the legendary figures for Baylor basketball. So thank you, Jonathan.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yep. You've been listening to a post-game call-in show. Ashley Hodge and Jonathan Tchamwa after Baylor's 82-74 win over Kansas. Sick 'em Bears.